2 years ago, Nvidia owned 95% of China's AI chip market. Today, zero. Not declining. Not struggling. Gone. This is the story of how the world's most valuable chip company lost an entire country in 24 months. In this video, we break down the timeline of US export bans, Nvidia's failed workaround chips, and the rise of Huawei's homegrown AI silicon. In 2024, Nvidia's China business was massive. Chinese tech giants like Alibaba, Tencent, ByteDance, and Baidu were buying H100 and H200 chips by the warehouse. China alone made up about 20% of Nvidia's total data center revenue. Then, the Trump administration tightened export controls. In April 2026, Nvidia was told it would need a license to sell its most advanced AI chips into China. That was the first wall. But here is the twist. The US actually cleared Nvidia's H200 chip for sale to about 10 major Chinese companies. The paperwork was done, the approvals were signed, and you know how many chips actually got delivered? Zero. Not one. China did not want them. Nvidia did not go down without a fight. When the H100 was blocked, they built a cut-down version called the H800. When that got banned, they built the H20, an even weaker chip designed to squeak past US rules. Then, when the H200 finally got export approval, Nvidia thought it had a path back in, but China had already moved on. While all this was happening, Beijing banned Nvidia's RTX 5090D V2. That was a China-specific gaming card that Chinese AI labs had been using as a clever workaround. They banned it while Jensen Huang was literally in Beijing for the Trump-Xi summit. The symbolism is hard to miss. While Nvidia was busy designing weaker and weaker chips to satisfy US regulators, Huawei was building its own AI chip family. Huawei, the same company that the US has been trying to cripple with sanctions since 2019. While Nvidia was designing cut-down chips, Huawei was building its Ascend series. The Ascend 950PR, launched this year, reportedly delivers 2.8 times the performance of Nvidia's H20 on certain AI tasks. Chinese fabs cannot even keep up with demand. Huawei is projecting $12 billion in AI chip revenue this year. DeepSeek's next model, V4, is already running on Huawei chips. The ecosystem that US policy was supposed to contain is now thriving without American silicon. Huang himself admitted it. Huawei is very, very strong. Their local ecosystem of chip companies are doing quite well because we've evacuated that market. You would think a face-to-face between Trump and Xi might move the needle. It did not. Jensen Huang was a last-minute addition to the US delegation. He flew to Beijing hoping for a breakthrough on chip sales. He left with nothing. A US trade representative confirmed after the summit that chip export controls were not even on the table. Nvidia told investors to expect nothing regarding China approvals. Huang's exact words, "I don't have any expectation. We've set all our numbers for investors to expect nothing." That is not cautious optimism. That is surrender. US export controls didn't slow China down. They sped China up. If you found this breakdown valuable, subscribe and hit the bell for more deep dives into the intersection of tech and geopolitics.